going to roll far side. Looking downfield for a big pass. Noah Sunder breaking loose. Can he get to it? Oh, God! 44-yard touchdown pass. Keimani Brown. Noah Sunder.
Sean Meyers of the Westmoreland Sports Network, joined by our Westmoreland County Player of the Week for Week 7. It is Noah Sunder of the Jeannette Jayhawks. He had a massive performance and a thrilling victory at Brentwood. 3 touchdown receptions. First off, Noah, congrats on this honor. It was a massive game for you and for your entire team. What was working for you individually that allowed you to have 120 receiving yards and those 3 touchdowns?
It starts up front with the line. The line really protects our quarterback, Keimani, Stuchel, Carmine, Wyatt, Dane, Lonnie. They all get protection in the pocket and give Keimani time to make the perfect throws that he does.
And those throws were on the mark, and you did the rest. Obviously, he's been really good at quarterback, but I know he didn't start the season as the only quarterback because he and Marcus McGowan are kind of splitting time. So how was that for you as a receiver, maybe getting used to Keimani being the exclusive quarterback recently? Was there any adjustment to that?
Yeah, there was. So we started with Marcus, and he was struggling a little bit in the first game, and then we put Keimani back there, and he started playing good. And then Marcus, we rotate him in with Keimani, and they both get equal amount of reps, and they've been both playing really well in the season so far.
Now, I know Keimani, when he's not playing quarterback, he's a really good receiver as well. Does that make it easier for you and he to be on the same page because he knows exactly what you're trying to accomplish, having played that position quite a bit?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier for the both of us. We both are really good route runners. We both get open a lot, and it gives Marcus easy targets for the game to make good throws.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the last game against Brentwood. I'm sure you realized and your teammates realized how big of a game that was in terms of trying to get into the postseason and the implications that come with that. You were down in the fourth quarter. You were down in the final minute. So what was the mentality like for you and your teammates there as you were trying to forge that comeback?
Starting on defense, like we kept saying to ourselves, like, we're not going to lose. Like, we want to stay in this. Like, we don't want to give up or anything. And we made that one good stop, and that brought us back into the game. We turned the ball over on downs, went down and scored, and then stopped them again, and then we scored again, and then tied the game up. And then we decided to go for 2. And we told all the coaches, like, oh, we want to go for 2, we want to go for 2. We took the risk and the risk reward, and we scored and won the game.
Yeah, it certainly was a risk that paid off. I know that that's a situation where you probably feel like you have the momentum. Is that something you can sense as a player when momentum does kind of shift like it did to your team late in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it really does shift a lot.
When you think back to what your team maybe needs to do to avoid having to come from behind like that, how do you make sure that you're better positioned heading into the fourth quarter so you don't need those dramatic rallies going forward?
We just focus. Like, we don't want to have any problems, nothing. We just focus. We don't make any mistakes. And if we make mistakes, we pick our teammates up. And if we don't pick our teammates up, everything's just going to go downhill from there.
I know you're a junior now, so you're familiar with a lot of these teams in the conference, having played them multiple times throughout your career. Of course, everyone knows Jeannette and Greensburg Central Catholic, or Jeannette and Clairton, and you've even played teams like Springdale and Riverview and Leechburg quite a bit over the past decade. But Brentwood is a new opponent, having dropped down from Class 2A into the conference. Was it more challenging having kind of that unknown with the opponent? And I know Coach Pallone also said their field was a little bit different of a setup. You had to actually stay out on the field during halftime?
Yeah, so we didn't game plan. Like, it was like a difficult game plan we had to do because we are all used to all the other opponents. Like, we're used to how they run their offense. So it was a whole new game plan, and we kept getting used to it, and then we showed out on the field and won the game.
Where was your team's mindset after those 3 consecutive losses, albeit against really good teams in Leechburg, Clairton, and GCC? But did you feel the confidence wavering a little bit, or did you still know that you were able to go out there and win a big game like you did?
We didn't want to stay down on ourselves. Like, we didn't want to give up on anything, because if we lost that game, then we weren't making playoffs at all. So we had that mindset, like, we wanted to win the rest of the season so we could still have a chance to make playoffs.
Did you obviously you would have loved to have won those three games I alluded to. But did you learn anything during that losing streak about yourself or about the team?
Yeah, we did. We just had that mindset, like, we don't want to lose anything else. Like, we were all right. Like, we didn't want to, like, obviously, like, think that we're gonna be done with the playoffs. So we just kept having practice over and over again, and doing our thing and succeeding in the game.
How much do you realize and understand and appreciate the tradition of Jeannette football?
I appreciate it a lot. Ever since I was a little kid, my cousins play for Jeannette, and I've always gone to the games with my parents, my grandma, and grandpa, and I've always wanted to play just like my cousin and all of them. And now it's a great moment to play with Pallone and all the other players. It's surreal to me.
I know you have quite a lineage in your family. You mentioned I know Miles Sunder fairly well. My time covering him both at the high school and college level. Was it something where you kind of looked to those relatives and learned how to play the game at a young age from being around them?
Yeah, I've watched a couple clips from them, and I see what they do on the field, and I try and do the exact same.
Did you realize at a very young age that you yourself were going to be a football player for Jeannette? Is that something you'd always wanted to do?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that whenever I was little. This is actually my fourth year playing football. Like, my first year, there was a COVID year, and that hit, and I couldn't play my, what was it, seventh grade year. And then eighth grade year, I played for 1 year, and then I moved up to high school. So it was a huge jump from middle school to high school.
I know that pretty much coincides with Coach Pallone taking over the program recently after, the legendary Coach Roy Hall decided to step away. What do you like most about Coach Pallone and what he brings?
I love his coaching. Like, he coaches really well. Like, he makes sure everyone gets the right formations, all the right calls, and teaches literally little by little, and makes sure everyone's straight with everything.
So after that big win, your team is now 5-3 on the season, 2 wins in the conference as well. And you have 2 games that I would say are winnable upcoming against Springdale and Riverview. So what are the goals from here going forward?
So we don't, like, they were up 7-0 on us last year, Springdale, and we just don't want to take them lightly. But they don't have their quarterback, I don't think. But we're still going to prepare that when they have their quarterback in. But we're going to suspect a lot of sweeps and all that. So we're just going to play the sweeps and just get our minds right for those games.
Did the team as a whole have a objective to reach the playoffs before the season began? Was that one of the major bullet points of what you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, that was our plan, because just like last year, we lost first round against California in playoffs, and that was our mindset going into the season. We wanted to make playoffs and go further.
What do you like most about this year's version of the Jayhawks?
It's our players are really, like, ready to play for the games. Like, we have big time players like Eli Jones, Magi Sanders, Nick Mendoza, Carmine Dianuntis, Hunter Schaefer, a first year starter and a freshman. We got Kimani Brown back, Jace Powell back, and we have really big time players that want to play football.
Is Jace a guy that you and he kind of form a dynamic duo? So how do you help each other? Because he's had a great season as a receiver as well.
Yeah, we both help each other. Like, if Jace is, like, ask questions about something, I always tell him what routes he has to run. And if I always have a question, he always lets me know. So we're both on the same page most of the time.
So you mentioned 4 years playing football. Any other sports that you've participated in?
Yeah, I played basketball, baseball. I used to do track, and I used to do soccer, but my current sports are baseball, basketball, and football right now.
Okay, so you play sports year-round at the high school level then?
Yeah.
So you play under Coach Batts, who's also the athletic director at Jeannette. What's your relationship like with him?
He's a great coach. I've known him for a long time now, and my first year playing for varsity, he was a great coach. And then last year, I've started for basketball, and he's just been teaching me through everything, and I've made a big impact on the team.
Now, he fully understands that a lot of Jeannette football seasons go deep into the year, so he probably doesn't get his full arsenal of basketball guys until sometimes well into November. Is that challenging for you to go to football, especially if you make the playoffs and then quickly try to turn the focus to the hardwood?
It's a little bit difficult, but once I get into the swing of things, then I'll be straight.
How about baseball? How do maybe some of the skills that you use in baseball translate to the other sports?
It just baseball keeps me conditioned for basketball and football. So, and then football keeps me conditioned for basketball and so forth.
They all play together, I guess. Outside of athletics, what do you like to do in your free time? What are some hobbies you have?
I watch film a lot for like other sports like baseball and basketball and football, and I play with my friends a lot and just chill at home, watch my dogs, and watch football a lot.
So, as a spectator, is football your favorite sport to watch?
Yeah, it has to be.
NFL?
Yeah, NFL, college. I really love college football a lot.
Do you have a particular team?
Michigan.
Michigan. All right. So last year was pretty good for you, I would say, winning a national championship. They're down a little bit this year. So how do you feel about how this season might play out?
They got a couple difficult games coming up, but I feel like they'll pull through.
So do you have any friends who are Ohio State fans?
I do have a few.
I mean, there's a connection between Jeannette and Ohio State over the years. So I feel like being a Michigan fan in Jeannette might be a little difficult at times, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Uh, any other sports that you enjoy watching?
I enjoy watching college basketball. I went to the college basketball playoff, the March Madness, I should say.
In Pittsburgh.
The first round, yeah.
Now, are you Michigan for college basketball as well?
No, I'm Pitt for college basketball.
There you go. Are you considering playing a sport at the next level? I know you have a little bit of time still as a junior.
I'm thinking about doing basketball for the next level for college.
I know it's a long way in the future, but have you thought about what career you'd like to ultimately pursue?
I have no idea yet.
No idea. Well, thankfully, you have plenty of time to make that decision. Any TV shows or movies that you can basically recite every line from?
Uh, Probably Sandlot, to be honest.
The baseball movie.
Hmm.
There you go. That's a classic one. Okay, let's say you are stranded on an island and you can pick one of your teammates to go with you. Who are you taking with you?
Sorry. Probably be Nick Stuchel.
Why is he the choice?
Like him, like he's just a great person. Like he's a leader on the field, on and off the field. He keeps everyone straight in school, and he's just a great person to be around.
Who's your celebrity dream date?
Mm, I don't, I don't have one, to be honest with you.
Okay, fair enough. Lastly, let me think of a really good one here for you. You wake up tomorrow with $1 million. What's the first thing you're doing with the money? You don't have to spend it all, but what's the first thing you're doing?
Buying a mansion, 100%.
Okay, but you're gonna make sure it's in Jeannette, right? You can't leave your teammates for the time being.
Oh, so I have to be. Okay,
Well,
yeah.
if you leave them high and dry, that's fine. I mean, I guess they wouldn't blame you if you get into a mansion. You got to have them over at least, though, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Noah, thanks so much for doing this. Congrats on being our player of the week, and congrats on the great performance as well against Brentwood.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That is Noah Sunder, our player of the week, right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.